Y'all didn't expect to see us today, huh?
Hello.
Yo, so we had to make an
And
appearance. We
we're
had to
doing an
make an
impromptu.
appearance.
We're doing an impromptu, right? Impromptu
Tell them
appearance.
why. Tell them why we had to show up, co-host.
Listen, co-host. We got some alarm. We got some news from North Miami. We are really intrigued by this information. Are you
Well, not only were we intrigued, we're impressed. You know what I'm saying? We're here for all of that, and it was
Oh,
important for us to go ahead and put this out here so people
I
can
agree.
see that we have some folks in the city of North Miami that's standing for what's right. You know,
Hey,
at least that's our opinion. I'm gonna just say that's just my opinion.
that's
You
my
know, they're
opinion
standing there
too.
doing the right thing because we're starting to see too many of these elected officials acting like low-key totalitarians and dictators and all
You
this kind of
know,
stuff. And so now people are standing up saying, listen, y'all
right?
can't be doing this, you
Listen,
know,
I dub you Mrs. 305 because you know
all
you
day
can't rap
long,
all
all day
day, right?
long.
So North Miami not playing with nobody, huh? They said they want all the smoke. So we have
Yeah.
Dr. Naomi Blemur here to give us a little bit of background.
Wait, we got to tell who she is. I mean, this girl ran statewide
Yes,
for
she
the
did.
Commission of Agriculture.
You
You
better
know what
talk
I'm saying?
about it. You better talk
Yes,
about it.
yes.
Oh, and also I think she was appointed to the North Miami. I want to say was a, was it the city commission?
It is the North Miami Commission for Women.
For women, yes, was a point like this. She's in all places political, all places of faith, and also do a lot of things for women, and she does a lot of events for women. So we are really excited to have her here, but she is here for an important information to provide. We're excited to have this conversation, and this will segue into a couple of other things that's been happening nationwide. So, Naomi, please
Tell us about the voters versus the city of North Miami et al. Tell us about that.
Hello, Sandra. Hello,
How are you?
Monique. Hello to all of the races, I guess, individuals that always tune in to watch and who are dedicated to serving their community, dedicating to ensure that our community remains engaged and that we show up. It is just really an honor and a privilege for me to be on Races and the Races, right? My name is Naomi Esther Blemur. As Narnik stated, I ran statewide for Commissioner of Agriculture. I won the primary with over 700,000 votes. And although I did not win the general election because of platforms like Races and Races, and because of individuals who live in the state of Florida, I was able to win over 3 million votes. Both Democrats, Independents, and Republicans felt that I was the best choice to become the next Commissioner of Agriculture. Although we did not win that general election, we made a conscious decision to remain connected in our community and to serve. And as Narnik stated, I serve on several boards in the city of North Miami. I am a commissioner in the Planning Commission. I am the elected vice chair for the Commission for Women, as well as the downtown NOMI advisory board and the housing board. And so I have been present in all aspects of service. I am also the co-founder for Balancing Life, where we teach individuals how to balance 4 aspects of their lives: their spirituality, their finance, their education, and their emotions. And I'm a mom. And I think that out of everything that I do, that is the most important for me. And I am here to just clearly share exactly what has been going on in the city of North Miami in light of an upcoming judgment that a judge will be ruling more than likely on Monday on this.
So we're gonna call it a motion. It's a motion hearing that's set for Monday, and then the judge will make a decision. There's no a judgment has not been ordered in this particular case. A motion has been filed to expedite a lawsuit that was filed by the voters of North Miami, and they wanted on an expedited process, and they filed a motion. So there's a motion hearing on Monday. I just had to throw that legalese in there.
No, listen, you're the lawyer here.
So there's a motion hearing on Monday on this issue. So that's what Naomi wants to give us, just like a summary of what's going on with this case, and then we're going to connect it to some of the things that are happening nationwide. So go ahead and give us a summary of what's going on. We're not going to ask you to make an opinion on that. That's what the judge is going to do on Monday, is make their legal opinion and issue a decision on the motion that was filed by the voters. And so, but just give us a summary of what it is that's happening, that you thought it was important enough to come on with us today to talk about it.
Excellent. Perfect. So first and foremost, the city of North Miami is a city with about 60,000 residents and about 30,000 registered voters. On December 13th, the council made a decision to extend elections for 18 months. So on a regular cycle, we would actually be having elections on May 9th, 2023. And on in the month of December, they made the decision to move elections back 18 months. Now, what that did was it actually gave individuals who would have been term limited, right? Term limited, an extension of their time. And the people decided that we're not going to have it. About 120 residents in the city of North Miami decided that this was wrong. They wanted elections, and that they were going to seek the courts to actually take a look at this decision, take a look at this ordinance that was passed, and make a ruling on whether or not the council had the legal right to actually extend elections 18 months and thereby change the date of elections from May 2023 to November of 2024.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to. So Naomi's being a little nice, right? Because she the nice one, I ain't. So she keeps saying that extended the election date. No, in essence, what that did was extended the term of those elected officials for another 18 months, some of whom were term limited, meaning that they was going to have to give up their spot, right, in May.
But it's not their spot.
Essentially, they extended their terms another 18 months, and then give the people no choice or no voice in that decision.
Let's clarify.
That's what they're trying to do.
It's an elected position. It's not their spot. It's always open for everyone. But yes, Sandra is correct. Naomi is being nice. They did extend their term, a term that was limited. So continue.
And on top of that, so they basically said whoever wanted to run for that seat,
right?
They're like, yeah, no, you out of gas. No, you can't. You're not running for this seat. We're going to stay here. I don't know what country they think we in. They're like, we're going to stay here another 18 months and you can't say or do nothing about it. But then the people spoke, right, Naomi? And let's tell us what the people did.
And you know what? That is exactly what the people did. The people hired an attorney, and the people decided that they, number one, wanted an election. Number two, they wanted the court to clearly state that two of the current elected officials, that their time are ending May 2023. And lastly, the people are requesting that we have elections May 9th, 2023. And, I am being, politically correct about it, obviously, because of my role and the different ways that I serve the city. And as Sandra mentioned, I want to wait until the decision is made by the judge. Nevertheless, I think that it is very clear. It is very clear on what is happening in this country, not just in the state of Florida, not just in the city of North Miami, that at times when we choose people, when we elect them, when we say, speak for me, many of times we find that these individuals may find themselves in a situation where they're not looking to speak for us. They're making decisions that benefit them. And in this case, it would have extended two of the council members who are term limited, right? And one being actually the appointed mayor of the city of North Miami.
So, and like Naomi said, and Sandra and I have discussed very briefly. This is a trend that is going all across the country, where you have elected officials who are duly elected by the people, and you have legislators that are removing, expelling, just destroying other elected officials on the basis and on the terms of we can do what we want. And rules are arbitrary now. We can arbitrarily.
Ain't no law that said they can do what they want. That's like an
Well,
abuse of power stuff happening
it
there
is an
now.
abuse of power. Yep, you're absolutely right. It is an abuse of power, but the behavior is that laws are now, or rules are now, arbitrary. What's good for one elected official is not good for another. And what we're seeing now, and what I think what North Miami, the people of North Miami are doing, are basically saying, hey, yes, we elected you, but you don't get to do what you want. you are our voice. However, we can take that back. And I think that that's a trend that should continue out throughout this country. I'm gonna let Sandra give you a little bit of synopsis about what's going on in Tennessee. But if you look at the trend, especially the states that are Republican ran state legislators, there are rules that are now being arbitrarily used for whatever reason to further those agendas. While the main thing that people need to understand is that when you are elected by the people, you have to serve all the people, even those that didn't vote for you. You're here to represent everyone, and I think that we've lost that democracy. We've lost democracy. Democracy is completely obliterated in this country, and we are really excited to see people in North Miami saying, "Not today, not on our watch. This is not going to be going on with us." Sandra, go ahead.
No, Naomi's the one that's here to talk. Go ahead and talk, and then I'll comment after. I'll come in.
You know what? I think that what we want to take away from this for the city of North Miami is, number one, you have a right to speak up.
Absolutely.
As children of immigrants, it is very difficult for us to speak up when we see something going left, or we actually identify some holes in the process, or some poor decisions in the process, and we just feel like, okay, you know what, it is what it is, we just have to take it and then let's see what happened. But I believe that we are living in a generation where we cannot afford to sit back and watch what is happening. We cannot afford to be silent. We cannot afford to not voice our opinions and say, listen, I do not believe this is right, and since something in me don't agree with it, you know what? Let's bring it to the justice system, and let's get the courts involved, and let's get a judge to look at this objectively and literally tell us exactly what is right, what is wrong. And I believe what the residents of the city of North Miami are doing is really setting a precedence to say, listen, we don't know how this is going to go, but where we see something not going the way we think it should, we're going to say something, and we're going to speak up, and we're going to advocate for ourselves. And for many of us, no one taught us how to do that. No one taught us how to advocate for ourselves. No one taught us how to hold our leaders accountable. And when we do it, right, it may seem as if like, oh my God, what is happening? But you know what? The process is there to work for everybody. The process is there to ensure that there are checks and there are balances. The process is there to ensure that servants serve the people and not themselves.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And what we're hoping for on Monday is that the judge make a decision without fear or favor, right? You know, that's what judges are on the bench for. That's what they're supposed to do. And we're hoping that that's what that judge does on Monday, is that they make a decision without fear or favor, not afraid of anything and not in favor of anyone. Just make the right, most objective decision for the people. And, you know, for me, like from my vantage point, I'm like, I don't see what else the judge can do but tell these people, like, go sit down, schedule that election, and let the people vote. Because, like, how do you do that? How is it that you're going to be like, nah, I ain't ready for my job to end. I'm just going to give myself another 18 months. Like how do you do that? And then it was the other incredible thing about what folks, when they're doing these things, right, is that they try to create some justification. They say, oh no, we just want to align ourselves with, you know, the general election of the United States. So that's why we're going to wait until November 2024. You know, like, get out of here with that nonsense. Get out of here. I live in a city that has odd year elections. So my city, Miramar, we had elections in March of 2023. So we have odd year elections. So the idea that cities have odd year elections or elections that are not scheduled with the general election, that ain't nothing brand new. It's not anything that's unusual. Matter of fact, I think we had 6 cities on the day that Miramar had their election.
Yes.
It was like 5 other cities in the county that had elections too, right?
Absolutely.
So this whole thing of them trying to say, oh no, we just trying to make it with the general election. No. Tell that to somebody who ain't paying attention. All right. And I'm not buying that. And apparently the voters and the people in North Miami ain't buying that talk either. You know,
and you know what, Sandra?
No one's
When you
hating
look at
on the
it,
people who are elected. We're just saying that is not the way to do it. But what the voters did, that's absolutely the way to do it, right? Because we saw some poor examples of trying to extend a person's term, right?
Oh, yeah.
We saw what happened on January 6, 2021. They're like, we don't want him to go nowhere. And that's how they wanted to extend the term. The people in North Miami, the voters in North Miami said, no, we're not going to do that because that ain't the way to do this. We're going to go and use the judicial process that exists, and we're going to have go in front of a judge, and hopefully that judge makes a decision without fear or favor and do the right thing.
And I like what you're saying, Sandra, without fear or favor, number one. Number two, doing the right thing. And number three, allowing the people to voice their concerns. Because in a lot of environments right now, even nationally, you are penalized for voicing your concern. You are penalized for saying, I don't agree with this. You are penalized for saying something about this don't really mesh good with me. And I think that earlier I stated that, the voice of the people are speaking up against the powers that be. And you said to me, well, Naomi, is it really the more powerful? Who gave them that power? We did.
Absolutely.
And so when you actually give your power to someone else and you say, listen, I am entrusting you to make decisions on my behalf, that is an awesome responsibility. And those that have it should do right by it.
Absolutely. And to add on to, I think people need to understand that this is also part of the political process. What the people of North Miami are doing is also part of the political process and participation. We do have recourse as voters. You don't just go out and vote. There are other aspects of voting and being part of the political process. And this is one of them. And I think that the country is forgetting that we do have recourse. And if elected officials are elected and they're behaving in a totalitarian way, as Sandra mentioned early on the top of the conversation, then we do have recourse. We can file motions or injunctions and whatever else we can do to make sure that those who are elected by the people understand that they work for the people. They do not work for themselves.
Absolutely not, because we're starting, and this is such a crazy trend that's happening around the country, right? There are 2 Justins, right? I think it's Justin Jones, and I don't remember what the other Justin's last name, in Tennessee, that were just removed from their positions because some folks didn't like the fact that they participated in a process. I think it was a gun, some kind of gun protest or something like that. Understand that we have a First Amendment right to protest in the United States, right? We have a right to assemble. We have a right to petition our government. We have First Amendment rights to do these things, right? And then so the idea that some folks are like, we don't like it, and you're going to strip somebody, and basically, essentially, what those folks did was strip the decision of 144,000 voters in Tennessee, right? Those guys were duly elected. The people voted for them, and because they're exercising their First Amendment right, then some other folks will be like, yeah, nah, we don't like this. We're going to go ahead and strip you of your power, right? There's another case that's going on, I think in Wisconsin, where, a Democrat won judicial seats is supposed to be nonpartisan, but she's considered a liberal justice, right? Got her seat, and then the Republican legislature like, yeah, we don't like that, and they're going to try to take the position away from her. I absolutely am in awe and love what it is that North Miami is doing, because we need to show these folks that you just don't get to do that. Right? So maybe the elected official who may lose their position can't, there's no legal recourse for them. But as voters, we have to say no. No, we voted for them. You don't get to do this, right? And then if you do, and the other strong message that needs to come out of this is if you make a decision to go and take duly elected folks out of that position, then we gonna vote you out of yours. And they need, and I think part of the reasons why some of these elected officials are doing this is because they're so comfortable and confident that no matter what they do, when they run, they're going to win again. And that arrogance needs to, that level of arrogance needs to stop. And the people, the voters, need to remind them that this is a privilege and an honor that the people, the voters, gave to them, and they don't own it, and they should not abuse it, and don't think that it can't be taken away from them the same way they received it. And that's the real power that we need voters to understand, is that you don't have to keep sending these clowns back to work, right? Particularly when they're doing things like this. That's very anti-democratic.
Very, very.
And yeah, go ahead, Narneet. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to add on to Sandra. We also in Jackson, Mississippi, you have an all Black city, and you have the state legislator basically forcing them to change the way that they do their things.
They're creating positions. That's what they're adding additional seats and appointing white folks.
No, she's absolutely right. But it to me it's forcing. Now you have a city that has duly elected officials. They're running their city smoothly, but because they feel that they shouldn't just be all Black, that they're going to create judge positions, they're going to create police positions, they're going to create commission positions, just so they can add on people. And this is
come on, don't say add on people. No, they're gonna go give the position to white people. Like, if they were just adding on people, they would have had a process that was meritorious. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe the population warrants two additional seats on the bench. No, that ain't what they doing. They about to go ask some white folks to the seat because they can't win.
And that is why what the people in North Miami are doing is so important. This is so important. Go ahead, Naomi.
And one of the things that I witnessed running statewide is the fact that most people genuinely believe in the people that they elect. Mm-hmm. The majority of us are not out to get the people who we put in power. The majority of us actually believe that we elect them, they're going to do the right thing, and they're going to always vote to ensure that our quality of life, our children are safe, our streets are safe, our communities are safe. So when you see a group of people rise up, it's because enough is enough. And for most of us, it takes a level of courage for you to challenge the powers that be. It's not an easy feat. It's not something that somebody just wakes up and say, oh, you know what? I'm going to challenge my council today. No. It is a build up of decisions that have been taken that are not in favor of them, their families, and their communities. And they're saying, you know what? I'm about tired of this, and it's time for me to speak out. That is really what happens. And when it comes to that point, right, the people are so frustrated. They're so angry. And a lot of them are hurt. A lot of them are hurt because they actually believed in you. They actually believed that you were going to do the right thing, and you turn around and show them that, you know what, it's not about you. It's about me. Thank you for the power, and I'm going to do what I.
Let me tell you. So I'm familiar with who the mayor of North Miami is, right? And this is not no personal attack on nobody, right? Understand that, right? This is not a personal attack. This is about, how, and this is really about process. This is not no personality politics or anything like that. This is really about process. Like, how is it that you get to decide that you just go extend your contract? Like, I mean, in one that you don't get to do that, right? So this is not personality politics or anything like that. They had a great event. I got to see it. There was I forgot the name of it's a Jazz in the Garden version of what happens in North Miami. They have beautiful things happening that, Naomi said how she's part of that Naomi board. There's a lot of great, awesome, amazing things that's happening in North Miami. And I'm telling you, it's a lot of amazing things happening. However, even if you like what it is that they're doing, they should not be able to arbitrarily get to extend their jobs, because Like that just ain't how that go. And I don't care if you're doing a good job. If you're doing such a good job, then you shouldn't be scared to get elected. And if your time is up, you knew your time would be up when you ran for this seat because they told you you get to do this 2 times. That's it, right? You knew that. So don't come because you don't like it no more. It's not benefiting you to come try to change the rules in the middle of the game. That's just not acceptable. And it wasn't acceptable when 45 tried to do it on January 6, 2021. So it absolutely cannot be acceptable now. So it wasn't only the way the folks tried to do it in January 6, 2021. We were all sitting there like, what? This is a coup d'etat in the United States. So what y'all trying to do? Coup d'etat on the slick? No, coup d'etats are not okay, period. No matter who's doing it and how they're trying to do it. That's all.
Because if you don't stop, if the people don't get involved now and make this known, where does it end? Because if we allow this to go on, what else are we going to allow to go on? And the fact is that I think a lot of elected officials, not all, but a lot of them bank on the fact that we're not paying attention. They bank on the fact that we're not involved. They bank on the fact that we're not participating. And when that happens, you get things like that happens on the slide. And for luckily for North Miami, you have 120 plaintiffs who are saying no. The rest of them may not understand what's going on, but we do, and we're going to take this as a responsibility of ours to make sure all 60,000 get what's fair and what's done and what's proper. So what North Miami residents are doing, who've come together, and it's not something easy. This is something very difficult that you have to garner all these people to come together to make a point. And I hope that on Monday that the judge sees this motion and sees the validity of what's going on and doesn't allow this to go on. Because if we don't have someone who say, hey, wait a minute, this is not fair. You can't extend your time. You can't do these things or whatever. We have elections, and this is why we have elections. And we're hoping that it comes in the favor of the people.
And understand that it extends all of their time, right? So it extends the time of the people that's ending May, that should have ended May 23 to November 24, and the ones who should have ended in May 25, they go until November 26. So this is literally given, like, are you kidding me? Like
one decision
is extending everybody's job. Like,
unacceptable.
No,
unacceptable.
And you have 30,000 registered voters who were not informed, not contacted. Their opinions for this particular decision did not matter, right?
Yeah.
It was not about them actually calling for term limits in 2013. And, when as a resident of a city, when you vote and you say, listen, I want my elected officials to serve 2 terms. If it's the mayor, that's 4 years. If it's a council member, that is 8 years, period. That's what I want. And then once you have a situation that a mayor is appointed, right? Not voted by the people, but because of election laws and the current mayor having to resign.
That was a resign to run situation, I believe, right?
Exactly.
That they were appointed. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Now you have a situation where the charter does indeed call for the members of the council to appoint someone to finish that person's term. And then you have the appointment, once the appointment takes place, and then that person decides, okay, well, thank you for my appointment. Now I'm going to extend it 18 months.
Yep. Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Yeah.
Unacceptable. If we're going to start bending rules and changing rules and moving the goalposts and doing all that or whatever, it will be living in complete chaos. There's reason why there's rules and regulations. There's reason why there's charters. There's reason why we have all these things. And if we're just going to
so I totally agree. And I shouldn't have said no. So there's some rules that shouldn't be rules at all, and we understand that, right? Like we understand that there's some rules that just because something's a rule doesn't mean that it's right.
Absolutely.
So
there's a process to change
what they're trying to do is like, come on now.
Like Naomi said, there is a process. There's a process, and there was a step that was missed. And I believe the major issue of the step that was missed, the people weren't made aware. The people need to know, they need to understand, they need to make a decision if this is something that they want. But
so that's part of it. But even if they did tell them that they were going to do that, no, you shouldn't be able to do that. You should not be able to extend a job that you cannot run. You can't get it past this day. So how are you going to just tell me?
When we say inform the people, give them the right to make the decision.
Yeah,
That's what informing the people is not saying, hey, I'm about to do this. No, I would desire to do this. We're going to put this on the ballot and we're going to give you your right to choose on what you believe is best for you.
If we want to get rid of term limits and extend the terms of people that shouldn't have their job no more, okay. It can't, even if the people voted for that, it cannot be effective immediately. It can't benefit you. Let it benefit the next one, okay? So please.
Sandra, I tell you.
I'm sorry.
And you know what?
I'm actually not sorry though. I'm not.
That is where the rubber meets the road. That is where the rubber meets the road. Yep. Is it okay for you as an elected official to make decisions that directly benefit you?
Right. Not like that.
Not like well, not
we don't want that. And nobody needs to think that is something we want to have happen, right? Because if we allow that, then that meant that 45 should have been able to extend his term as president. And I'm telling you, like, we ain't want it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't want it, and we do not want to give people the power and the ability to do something like that on no level, not on the smallest local level.
Yes.
Because if you say okay now, that means like you got to be okay no matter what it looks like, even when it doesn't benefit you or it's something that's against your interest. And let me tell you, that's a no. That's an absolute no for me.
And you know, these little things, they may seem little, but they're not, because those actions make in turn, and Sandra will tell you, she's an attorney, they create precedents. These little acts to me, this is straight violence, but this is the little acts of these little things. When they do them, they create precedence. So when you have a body that decides they want to extend their time, what makes you think Palm Beach or Broward won't say, well, they did it?
No, but what they're doing is precedence, right? Because it starts off with like, oh, the election, there was voter fraud going on. Oh, right. Because I didn't win, somebody cheated, right? Oh, because so that's how it starts. It starts there, then it ends up where we are right now, right? Absolutely. Even on a lower level, you have people who like everything showed that they lost. Like, I ain't lose for real. Count again. It must be wrong. No, ain't nothing wrong, right? Because in your mind you thought you should win, you didn't, right? So this what's happening now is the precedent of the former president, just trying to discredit the whole election process and people voting and taking away their rights to be able to do that, right? Always acting like, oh no, somebody had to be cheating, they shouldn't do that. So that it starts with that. And then you get folks who be like, well, if they could go out there and say it's a lie, even though it's true, and then people are letting them get away with that, and you could get people to buy in, right? Because they got people to buy into the nonsense. He started talking about, it was a lie, somebody cheated. And then all the people like, yeah, it's a lie. And you get an army and you get a band and you get followers and you get people to buy in. Then these people could go do this stuff, right? And they're going to get their fan club to say, yeah, why shouldn't they be able to stay 2 more years or whatever? And that's what happens. So they do it because all they need to do is get some buy-in. And then all of a sudden, that's like the new rule and the new way to do things, even though it's horrible. Right. So that was the precedent. The precedent to do this kind of stuff had already been set. It's just that they keep taking this straight up craziness to another level is what I'm going to call it, right?
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what it is. In light of Resurrection Sunday, what we call Easter Sunday, there's a scripture that says a small leaven leavens the whole lump.
Yeah.
Right? You may think it's just this one little thing, but before you know it, it's going to morph into something way bigger. And now it becomes a culture. Right? It becomes a mindset. It becomes a way of life. This is how we do things over here. Right? The reality of it is, if it's not going to work for everybody, it's just not what we want. Right? Absolutely. We want for the process to be transparent. We want for it to be equitable. And most importantly, we want to be the ones to choose it. Right?
We don't want this to be the process. I'm just going. When I say we, I'm gonna just say me.
No, it's just
not be the way people get their positions. Like,
Absolutely not.
No.
No. And you know what, Sandra, as I stated before, especially in communities in Miami-Dade County, Broward County, where you have large populations of immigrants, I'm going to repeat it again. We were never taught on how to advocate for ourselves. We were never really taught.
Well, Haitians know how to advocate. They just kind of do it a little different. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Tell me how Haitians advocate.
No, Haitians can advocate now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they may choose violence when they do it, but Haitians can advocate. They be like, oh, c'est ça l'affaire. Okay.
But you know what? Maybe by the time we actually decide to make a decision, the situation is so bad, right? That we don't.
I think Haitians should be choosing violence early on. It'd be straight on top.
You know what?
Haitians start right here. They be like, "C'est ça l'affaire. Let's go."
And then now it's like a situation where you have to ensure that people show up to council meetings, right? You have to ensure that people show up to planning commission meetings, that people show up to the advisory board meetings, because this is where it's happening. I would like to say that it's unfortunate that now we are before a judge. It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate because those people are doing something that they know is not the right thing to do. Because if they thought it was the right thing to do, this ain't the way they would have did it, right? And they also expected people, the voters, to sit on their hands and not do anything about it, right? Because I'm sure they'll be here like, what? They gonna do what? So they're surprised by it, right? There's totally. I think they are surprised by it because they thought they had a community of folks that didn't know how to advocate in that particular way. And so I'm actually glad that it's in front of a judge, because it needs to be. And I'm hoping the judge makes a decision without fear or favor, right? And do what's absolutely right, and do what's absolutely right in this particular instance. Because,
I guess for me, especially with communities that are majority Black and immigrant, being Haitian American, I would rather be in a situation where nous fait ça qui bon.
Yeah.
So that the elected official didn't make this decision at all, right?
Oui, parce que yo ap gade nou.
Yeah.
Yo, l'autre communauté ap gade nou, qui jan nou prend décision, qui jan nou gérer. Parce que ça yo pas dit que communauté haïtien ça yo pas comme ça y a faire. Gade ça yo fait. Gade qui décision yo prend. Après, it becomes it all, in a sense, we all become bunched in one group and we're looked at as if nous pas comme ça n'a fait.
Yeah.
Ou nous pas travail dans bénéfice peuple là. And that's for me, it saddens me a bit. It saddens me a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely get that. Because again, this is not a personality thing. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're fait bon travail, they're doing a lot of great things in that city. But because you're doing great things, and then you should have stained your own legacy with this. You really should not have stained your own legacy with this.
Parce que in the city of North Miami, ça pral gen 20 ans pour depuis que nous ka éli un magistrat.
Oui.
Okay? Yeah. And then before Borgelin, in the United States, pas gon l'autre ville qui ka dit yo gen 20 ans depuis a éli un magistrat.
Yeah.
So to your point, Sandra, it is not just your legacy as the elected person, it is the legacy of the group.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because many times, especially no pays qui pas paye ou, yo toujours gade nous comme ça.
Ça y a dit, nous pensons ça c'est Haïti.
Yes. Yeah, they do look at us like that. It's true.
One of the most and for me, I take it in and I really look at it. I'm like, man, this is just should not be our narrative. One of the meetings that they had a press conference, monsieur dit ça blanc. Il dit comme ça que ou paye ou tête en bas. Et ou vini là, kounya là, nous créons un système ou vini pour système nan, qu'on nous vle écraser système nan.
Mm-hmm. But it didn't start with them. Like
No, 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 not at all.
It did not start with them. Yeah.
Son mentalité liée et
Yeah. Yeah.
son mentalité que nous-mêmes comme immigrants qui gain, that has the opportunity, that
Yeah.
have the really the blessing, right, to be able to lead our own people. Nous pas doit accepter mentalité ça.
Yeah. This is
We need
a
to be, yeah.
this
We
is a
need to,
no.
we need to be, we need to set an example, and not only set an example, but stand on it, and always be at the front of what's right in democracy, not at the back, right? Because we do have a long-standing history in Haiti of how we do things. However, when we're here, we are the best versions of ourselves, right? I think everybody, when they come to this country, they want to be the best versions of themselves or whatever, and that's the American dream. However, when you're here, I think it's imperative that our people always do what's right. And I think as we can be able to stand on what we're doing when we're doing what's right, and we be able, once you can always argue with authority, but when you're doing shady stuff, you can never argue with authority. What you can do is try to kind of pass the buck and blame everybody except for take accountability. And so I am extremely happy that the residents of North Miami are saying we're not going to allow this. Mm-hmm. This is part of the political process. We're making our motions. We are the people who elect the elected officials. They work for us. You want to be insubordinate? Guess what? Not on our watch. And I'm hoping that, just like Sandra said, I hope the judge decides to, what was that, Sandra, again? What was the word you used?
Make a decision without fear or favor.
Fear or favor. I love that.
But that's what judges are supposed to do, make decisions without fear or favor.
I love that. And
I can't take credit for it. It's not, those ain't my words.
They're eloquent anyway, and they fit.
They definitely fit. And I think that moving forward, it now creates an environment where we allow everyone to be heard. We don't circumvent the process because there are consequences.
And we don't let an elected official get to extend their terms. I mean, that's just, that's dangerous.
That's important.
That's very, very dangerous.
Very important.
No, on any level, it's very dangerous. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not on today.
Yeah.
Not on today.
They want all the smoke.
Not on today. So we are with great anticipation waiting for Monday, and hopefully receiving a judgment. Did I say it correctly, Sandra?
Yeah, that's when you want a judgment in favor of the plaintiffs.
In favor of the plaintiffs. And if he does not rule on that day, hopefully before the week is over, we will know exactly what is happening in the city of North Miami as it relates to elections.
Right. And we're supposed to interview I think Ted Victor on Monday, because he's running to be DEC chairman or something. No, not DEC chairman. What is he running for?
He's running for a state committee
person, right?
Having ran statewide, that is a crucial position for someone to be in within any party. Because the state committee man can actually within each county, right? So he would be for Broward County. Within each county, you have that person. That individual is supposed to have a pulse on what's going on in the state. Mm-hmm. Right. And so when you have individuals showing up to run for office, this could be a key person that you go to and say, listen, tell me what's going on in your county. Right. And instead of you trying to, visit and having meet and greets in each county, and you're getting information that may be correct, may not be, right? That committee person who's in that county can clearly articulate to you not what's going on right now, but what has been going on and what the people want. And so I am in full support of Mr. Ted Victor, who has been a community leader in Broward County, Miami-Dade County, and has worked on several statewide campaigns, has shown himself to be committed, to be dedicated, and to really be a man that speaks for the people. And I hope that, I believe come the 15th,
Yes, the 15th.
that Broward County votes him in as the next committee woman, the next committee man, excuse me, state committee man for Broward County.
All right. Okay. Well, I was doing extra for the endorsement of Ted, but Ted got one though, so we're gonna have to clip that and post that. Okay.
Yes, we are gonna have to.
He is a phenomenal leader, and I do not believe that he will shortchange us. He is going to give us all of him, just as he has been doing in the classrooms every single day. Ted is a really great leader, and I think that we will be lucky to have him.
Awesome.
All righty.
Awesome. We also will be interviewing. I'm gonna put it out there. We also going to be interviewing our new Florida Democratic chair, Nikki Fried, in about 2 weeks.
April 19th. April 19th, 5:30.
5:30. We are excited because we want to see what the directions, what her goals are. We'll talk about voters. We're going to talk about voter education. We're going to talk about goals about how we're going to
leaving light blue to get to blue for real, because we're almost red in Broward, which is crazy, but okay.
But you know what? I must tell you, during the last elections, Broward held it down.
We held it down, but we were still light blue. Like literally, if Broward shows up, if Broward shows up,
other counties, you guys did for someone like me to literally run for the very first time and win Broward overwhelmingly, literally get more votes than the person who's running for governor. That is tremendous.
Yes, but that's what I wanted to say is, like, if Broward really shows up, we can almost carry the state. Like, we just need like a few folks here and there to do their part, but Broward can carry the state if we can just get folks to show up. And that's why it's very important who we allow to run Broward.
Opportunities. There's still some opportunities for Broward.
So we need to, because Broward can, please, if we get like 89, we get 90% of people to show up. We just need, just some folks here and there, and that's it. And we got it. We take the state.
That's phenomenal. And understanding Broward's demographics really shows us the power of the Black vote too.
Yeah,
they call the place Wakanda.
I love that.
we have all the constitutional offices in Broward, so
love it. And I think probably in Broward County you have more females on the bench than possibly anywhere else. Broward is just
listen. We just need to squeeze the juice a little bit more up in here.
Just a little bit more. Just a little.
We need to get the people to show up. Be like, y'all show up, okay?
Yep,
Stop the foolishness.
Stop the foolishness.
But you gotta have the right leadership for that to happen. You have to have the right leadership for that to happen.
Great, and I'm very happy to hear that you guys are going to be sitting down with Chairwoman Nikki Fried. I definitely will tune in. I've been following her emails and hearing about the changes that she want to implement. And recently, I know that you guys probably know that she was arrested in Tallahassee.
Yes,
she was arrested for the women, for the people. She tried to.
Right. That 6-week ban. Yeah.
So I know that
along with Lauren Book, who I think is one of my reps, the senator from my area.
Yes.
Yes, I'm looking forward to watching that interview and just hearing about that whole process.
Oh yeah.
So where do we go from here? We go from here?
Yep, absolutely. Well, we hope that you can come back after Monday, or if it's later on, we'll find out the time, and we would like to hear what the results are. We are really hoping that things go in the people's favor. And again, we want the judge to vote fair without favor, I think is
vote without fear or favor. Without fear or favor.
You know what? That's the prayer. That's the prayer, ladies. That's the prayer.
Fear without fear or favor. Because you know what, the people, we are what makes this country. I think elected officials need to be more collaborative with the people that elect them and be more immersed in the community that you serve. I think would have less shenanigans if elected officials will put the people first and not because the power is with the people, not the people in power. And I think they keep forgetting that. And so we look forward to hearing from you.
Absolutely. So I am dedicated to coming back, whether it goes in favor of the plaintiffs or not. to just going back and going over what the judge stated and how he ruled and why he ruled in that way.
Wonderful.
All
Awesome.
righty.
All right, guys. So thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you being here.
Always a pleasure. Happy Easter.
Yes,
Happy Resurrection Day. All right, you guys.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm doing the wrong thing.
We were already live, so I don't know what.